Hello, hello, listeners. Welcome to another riveting episode of Too Good to Be True Crime, a comedy podcast. As always, I'm your host, Austin, and today we have a case that's so outrageous you might think we're pulling your leg. But remember, in our world of true crime comedy, there's no such thing as too good to be true. Let's dive into it. Today we're unraveling the story of the Laughing Bandit, a notorious prankster turned thief who shook up the world and managed to keep a smile on his face the whole time. The Laughing Bandit, known for his high-profile heists, was not your typical criminal. Instead of guns and threats, he chose to use humor and wit as a weapon of choice. He'd leave the scene of his crimes with nothing but laughter echoing in the halls. But what led to his downfall? Ironically, it was his own sense of humor. As he attempted to steal the world's funniest joke, he fell victim to his own prank. He read the joke, started laughing uncontrollably, and was found by the authorities still chuckling at the scene. What was the joke, you ask? Well, we can't tell you that. It's classified. We wouldn't want to risk a mass laughing outbreak now, would we? And that, folks, is the hilarious tale of the Laughing Bandit. A reminder that sometimes crime doesn't pay, but it can lead to a good laugh. That's all we have time for today, folks. Join us next time for more unbelievable stories that are just too good to be true crime. Stay safe and keep laughing.
Austin, I've got one question. What the fuck was that?
Today's theme song performed by AI voices.
Too good. Too good to be true crime.
Too good. Too good to be true crime.
Too good. Too good to be true crime.
Too good.
Too fucking good to be true crime.
Rich, it's our AI episode. We're doing an AI episode of the podcast.
I get it. I listen, I trusted you with the intro today, and then I'm sitting there and you're going on and on and on. And I'm thinking, this doesn't sound like you that's written this. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? So what is that? So you've put that into an AI program, have you?
I had to write the intro today, and I did what the college students of today are doing, man. I just put it into an AI app, and I let the AI app write the intro for today. Well, I actually asked it to write the entire podcast because I was feeling, a little bit fucking lazy.
So, hold on. So there's software that you can... So did you have to dictate that into this software, and then it generates its own version of what you've said? Is that what happens?
I asked the app, please script an episode of my podcast. It's called Too Good to Be True Crime, a comedy podcast. And that's what the app gave me back. Exactly what I just read to you. I didn't remember to say, please script it for two hosts. So that was our episode for today, man. It was just me, unfortunately.
That's it, done. We'll see you next week.
That's how it's amazing, and that's how the AI apps work. If you forget to say something like it's for two hosts, well, obviously, how would it know? And so it's going to spit you out a whole thing, and that's what it gave me.
That could be what's happening on news programs, on radio shows, on everything. It's kind of like cheating the system, really, because it's not a human that's coming up with concept, with script, with delivery. It's literally just generating what you just say what you want it to say, and it basically comes out with a whole spiel to be auto-cued and read. That's unbelievable.
That was an app called ChatGPT, and we'll talk about it a little bit more because it's involved in our true crime for today.
Imagine like doing that for a date or something. If you're like cooking someone some dinner and you go, right, I want to actually present myself in the best way. Right, I need to create a good menu. I need good small talk at the table. I need to kind of know if this is going to progress and go somewhere else. And you get this chat bot to create everything for you. Or you could say, ChatGPT, please could you make me sound mildly interesting because I'm a real boring fucker right now.
I've got a top 20 list of threats of AI if you'd like to hear them.
Mate, I would love to hear those.
For our AI episode, I consulted the experts. So I just kind of Googled top 20 AI threats. So
you consulted the experts, which are essentially an AI system.
That's right. So this is mindmattersai.com. They've given us 20 threats of AI, and they're ranked high, medium, and low. So I'll start with the high
Yeah.
ones. We'll just kind of get through those. But these,
Right.
some of these are kind of interesting. And so number one is, of course, audio-video impersonation.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real.
For all of the
Yeah,
things
deep fakes.
Yeah, for all the things that could be used for. Number two, driverless vehicles as weapons. Number three,
Right.
tailored phishing, and that is phishing with a PH. PHISH. So this means exploiting a trust relationship using very personal data.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Tailored
so we
phishing.
got like we're getting like scam emails and scam text messages, but it's an more advanced system in that arena.
Right. Number four, disrupting AI-controlled systems like food logistics, public utilities, traffic control. So you could disrupt it and give yourself all the green lights, maybe.
Yeah. Got you. That'd be quite useful, to be fair.
I mean, they've been doing that since the Italian job, but that's nothing new.
This is true.
Number five, large-scale blackmail. Yikes. And number six, AI-authored fake news. Medium threat, military robots. I think it's really nice to know that these things are medium threat and not high threat. So military robots are only considered a medium threat level for AI. Number eight, in quotation marks, is snake oil. Fraudulent services sold as genuine uses of AI or machine learning.
Right. Can I just go back to the military one a second?
Yep,
so it's
please.
saying that, just read that one again for me.
Military robots.
So military robots they've classed that as medium threat.
I suppose this means that military robots, they're going to be made, they're already made using AI, but it's not a high threat severity for us as individuals. As
I
a
see. So it's
species.
more like sort of drones and kind of surveillance machines and stuff. Right. Okay. I was thinking
Yes.
my only reference of AI and machines taking over is obviously the Terminator movies. Right. So all I'm thinking
I know,
when I'm
that's what
thinking.
everyone is scared of course.
So when I'm thinking military robots, I'm thinking, like some kind of like secure, like iron or steel endoskeleton with red eyes that would literally infiltrate you and literally destroy you with one crush of their fist. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about drones, surveillance, that kind of stuff. That's fine. Just clearing that up. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, rest assured. Number 9 is data poisoning, manipulating the data available to AI and machine learning systems.
That must be another AI system manipulating the data that's been created by an AI system already. So we're quite advanced there. Okay.
I think so. Number 10, learning-based cyber attacks, AI-enhanced target-specific or massive attacks. Number 11 is a kind of a scary sounding one, but once again, this is only being considered a medium threat level, not a high threat level. Autonomous attack drones, individually or as swarms.
My God, because it's like, I don't know if you have it over in the States there, but we have sometimes, it happen when you've got like the coronation or royal weddings, and then they have the drones with like lights on them, and then they go up in the sky at nighttime and they're creating pictures. And it's just like a flock of drones. You're thinking if you're using those, and they're controlled, with AI systems to essentially, you could drop bombs eventually with those, couldn't you? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This says used individually or as swarms, independent of direct human control. That would be really frightening. A swarm of autonomous attack drones. We're still in our medium threat level. Online eviction, being denied of access to computer-controlled resources, banks, credit cards, all of that stuff. So AI being used to just basically shut people out of all of their online life. And then they couldn't stream the pod, and that's just fucked up.
Tragedy. That'd be an absolute tragedy. And the thing is, again, all my research and everything I relate this to is back to Hollywood movies, which everything should be related to that, because that is obviously the oracle of everything that we know and love, right? So that one's very similar to the Fight Club, isn't it? The film Fight Club,
Yes.
where he's basically trying to attack the credit card companies, bring everything back to zero and get some kind of parity. So it'd be something similar to that.
Yep. Number 13, tricking face recognition. I guess at the airport, security facial recognition, that kind of thing.
I mean, potentially that could make us better looking.
I guess as long as we don't do it to avoid detection or defeat any security systems, we can use AI to make ourselves look whatever we want. We could be young forever.
I'd just give myself a squarer jaw and perhaps more hair.
Hey man, don't say that. I love your jaw, buddy. Number 14.
This is still medium threat.
Yeah, we're almost at the low security threat, so I
Right,
think
okay.
there are 20. Yeah, we have 5 low. Number 14, market bombing. Manipulating financial or stock markets.
I know nothing about stocks and shares. I wish I did, but yeah, if it all crashes and maybe we get a few more pounds in our pocket, I'll be happy.
Are you ready for this low threat security level?
At this point, to be honest, there's probably not many of the ones that have been presented as medium threat as that I would put in that category. I think they're all potentially catastrophic, but please continue.
Number 15, bias, exploitation. This is basically just like using AI to spread propaganda, negative evaluations, or distort online rankings. Might be distorting the rankings in terms of reliability or trustability of certain news outlets, etc. All right. Number 16, low threat, burglar bots.
Burglar bots.
Burglar bots.
So-
small autonomous robots delivered through small, little small holes to do burglaring, or let a human burglar in. Throw low threat level for that. Don't worry too much about that.
So it's essentially a bot that will go through like your mailbox like hole or like through the cat flap and then open the door to let the burglars in. So it's not burglar bots that essentially go in with their swag bag and then go around and nick all your jewelry and everything and put it in a bag and leave. They're to let.
I think this is an and/or situation. Now, I'll just remind you, there is a high threat level of AI vehicles being used as weapons. But hey, there's a low threat level of burglar bots sneaking into your house and rounding up all of your jewelry. So thank God for that,
Yeah.
17 is evading AI detection. Low threat level. No one is going to be able to evade AI detection.
Right. Okay. That's it.
18, AI authorized fake reviews. I guess that's similar to number 15. Low threat level.
Mate,
we're not too worried about AI authorized fake reviews.
I mean, to be honest, in our careers thus far, in theatre and television and music, to be honest, to have a decent fake review might not be such a bad thing for us, right?
Yeah, we could possibly use some fake reviews. But leave us a real review if you'd like. If you're here, if you're not an AI bot, if you're a real human listening to this episode, leave us a review. You've already made it all the way out here.
Please do that. Write it on your Apple Pods or your Spotify, and maybe hit that 5-star like button. Mate, that was seamless the way you introduced that section.
Boom, baby.
Yeah.
Low threat level. We've got 2 more. Low threat level, AI assisted stalking. So this is like being
I don't like
stalked,
this one.
but on an AI. This is a low threat level of this. Thank God. Thank you, Mind Matters AI, for letting us know that. And then number 20, low threat level, is forgery. There's not a very high threat level of AI-generated art or music being attributed to known human authors.
Oh, you mean forgery, like as in plagiarizing music and twisting it in a computer to make it sound like it was original. Okay, I thought you meant like signing stuff and that as like masquerading as a human being, because really, is there ever going to be a point where an AI or a computerized signature is going to be as authentic as a real human signature? Who knows? It's possible.
Yeah. Sometimes now you just have to type in your name in the document and it counts as a signature.
That's true. Do you know what? Other than the fake review one, which might be quite advantageous to us, the other 19, I'd be pretty frightened if that starts to become prevalent. Any of them.
Let's remember that some of this is just scare tactics, isn't it? They just want us to want to read more and become educated. But people aren't going to read more about this. They're going to come to a podcast like ours, and they're going to learn all of the information they need.
Because we like to peel the onion.
We're doing our best to peel the onion. So we had our top 20 threats of AI. I think it's time to get into our story for today, our Too Good to Be True Crime for today. Too fucking good to be true crime.
That's all good shit.
Our Too Good to Be True Crime for today is going to begin with Rich. Rich, we're going to ask you to read an email that was sent out. This is from a teacher at Texas A&M, but you don't have to read this with a Texas accent.
Right, here it is. Okay. Right. Give it a quick scan read. Right, here we go. So what is this? This is from, are you going to tell me who this is from, or shall I just read it first?
It's from a teacher named Jared. And he's from Texas A&M University. And he's going to keep mentioning ChatGPT, which we'll dive more into after we read his scathing email.
Good afternoon. You should all be able to see your final grade in the course at this point on the D2L. Before everyone emails me individually, read this email carefully. In grading your last 3 assignments, I have opened my own account for ChatGTP. I copy and paste your responses in this account, and ChatGTP will tell me if the program generated the content. I put everyone's last 3 assignments through 2 separate times, and if they were both claimed by ChatGTP, you received a 0. The final grade for the course is due today at 5 p.m. I will be giving everyone in this course an X. There will be another assignment that you will complete if you are unhappy with the grade you see in D2L by 5 p.m. today. You will have until Friday at 5 p.m. to complete the assignment. The prompt for this assignment will be the following. You are consulting for a farrow to finish operation, and they have asked you to help them decide if they should begin creep feeding their pigs during farrowing. You are to use 5 sources, and as I run this through the ChatGTP program, if there is any inkling of its usage, not only will your grades not stand in the class, but we will proceed beyond class grade to the Office of Academic Dishonesty, oh my god, and any further involvement in my classes or any other classes at this university then becomes an issue. Jared. Wow, that's pretty full on, isn't it? Man alive!
That every single time he wrote ChatGTP, and the app is ChatGPT, so he got the app wrong every time that he used here.
So he's essentially clearly not used the app because it's incorrect. Oh, Jared.
So that was Jared Mum in the Agriculture and Natural Resources Department of Texas A&M.
Right.
Jared sent out this email to the students of his animal science class.
Oh my god, yeah, and they're calling their teachers by their first names, which is quite cool. It's quite contemporary.
It is. I didn't do that. I did not do that in college, in uni.
There's always Mr. and yeah, okay.
He's accused all of the students in his animal science class of cheating on their final, and he says he's going to, give them an X and this and that. I mean, we just heard it. We just heard the scathing email. It was sent all of his students, and then it was very quickly put it on Reddit, and so Reddit just had a field day. But before we get into what else is happening, let's just take another second to talk about ChatGPT. If you go on the website for ChatGPT, it says ChatGPT. Get instant answers, find creative inspiration, and learn something new. Use ChatGPT free today. So it seems to be a free resource online. You can download it on your phone. You can open it up on your laptop. And it's offering you instant answers and creative inspiration. If you read a little bit more about it, it says ChatGPT is a model or an app which is trained to follow an instruction in a prompt and provide a detailed response. That's what ChatGPT is telling us they're all about.
So the students have got wind of this, and they think we can use this to our advantage, and we can get our grades up because it will give us information we might not normally be able to source.
That's right. So students might be using it to find resources, to find references. They might be using it to check for grammar. They might be using it to make an outline for them. So, I mean, there's a gajillion uses for it. If you read more on the ChatGPT website, it says it's important to note that ChatGPT has some limitations. It may occasionally provide incorrect or nonsensical answers, as it lacks true understanding of the content like a human would. It's not without its flaws, right? And if you don't give it the exact right thing, it's going to give you a slightly flawed answer.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'd like to get one of those.
I know. So that's kind of how the teacher is trying to detect their use of the AI app, right? But as stated in his email, he's just kind of copying and pasting their assignments into the ChatGPT app and saying, has this been generated by ChatGPT?
Yeah.
So
as if teachers don't have it hard enough, and now not only trying to literally just create some order in the classroom, they've now got this added in, that not only are their kids unruly and perhaps misbehaving, they're now cheating with almost a flawless system that's only just recently been discovered.
AI in education is like an absolute wasteland. I'll attach some articles for anyone that wants to look in the notes of this episode, but it's really crazy, especially in high school and college, because there's so many different ways that the students can use it, and some of them are ethical, right? And so it's not, if you use ChatGPT to say Google the topic of your project and ask for some resources, it's going to kind of search the same way that Google would. It's not very different from, going to Google. Are students allowed to use AI and ChatGPT to find resources like that?
Well, I don't. Listen, I guess the purpose of a teacher is to educate, right? And I guess it's not until we get older that we realize how important having a good role model in the classroom is for us, because it can teach us so much. But as kids, I get it. We've all been kids. We all misbehave. We all try and bend the rules if we can. That's part of being a kid. But the bottom line is, you're grateful if a teacher is able to tell you something that you can use later in your life. And it was funny because I was reading an article not that long ago, and it was saying about how things are learnt now is in a short-term memory, because you've always got whatever question you want, whatever subject you want to research, you got to put it in your phone immediately, and it will give you all those answers, whether that be Wikipedia or news articles, and it's on your phone. So it means that our long-term memory and where we store that information is not being used as much. So it means that you ask me a question, I go, hold on, I don't know. I'll find that answer within seconds on my phone. I'll tell you the answer, and probably we forget that conversation and we're not retaining that information, because we also know, well, if I want to find out what that answer is again, I can actually look at my phone again, possibly on an open browser window that's stored on my phone. So you could argue it's just the new way of learning, but I would always err on the side of wanting to see someone presenting something or telling me something that they're not continuously just reading it from a screen or reading it from a piece of paper. Yeah, PowerPoint, presentation, whatever. But it's nice to know, and I'm engaging with someone that I feel is knowledgeable. That helps me learn still to this day. So I would say, yes, use the tools for research, but try to absorb and retain that information where possible. That'll be my point. I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
Do you ever remember your teacher telling you, well, you're not going to be able to carry around a calculator in your pocket everywhere you go, so you have to learn how to do this? Yeah,
it was like mental arithmetic. I mean, I don't think, it was many, many years ago when I took my sort of final exams at school, but I remember, I don't think we were even allowed a calculator. We certainly weren't allowed a laptop or a computer. Phones, I mean, there wasn't even mobile phones at that point. I mean, it's only in the late 80s, early 90s, but I remember not being, it was literally had to be all in your head. Research, all in your head, remember it. And listen, that's not easy. That is difficult, especially when you're trying to cram for 8, 9, 10 exams and you've got so much going on. But then again, at that age, 15, 16 years old, 17, you're a sponge, aren't you? You're able to retain a lot more information, and I guess that again boils down to how interesting and engaging your teacher was, because they can really have a big influence on your learning.
Yeah, and what about using AI to double check your grammar? There are a lot of students that claim they're just using AI to check their grammar, and even more so, there are students that English isn't their first language, and so they're maybe at university in a language that isn't native to them, and they could really, really use the help of something that checks their grammar for them, especially on an application or on a letter of recommendation, something like that. These are all questions that academia and the world are still wrestling with. Is AI cool? Is AI not cool? And so teachers have, they have software for turning in documents. I remember when I was in school, there was software for turning in your documents. You had to turn in your projects to turnitin.com, and that would check for plagiarism, and that would tell your teacher if you plagiarized. Yeah. And so that was something that has definitely been around for at least 10 years. But other software programs now have AI built in to not only check for plagiarism, but to detect if AI was used to help write a piece or a project.
And then where do you draw the line with that plagiarism? Because essentially, if you are writing a paper, you're doing some sort of research for that paper and you're sourcing material from people that have written about said subject from years, decades, centuries gone by. So you're essentially still reviewing and articulating in your paper the same information that's previously been written.
Yeah.
But you've got to find your own way of writing it. I think eventually they'll just go, do you know what? Use it. If you want to use it, if it helps you learn, they're gonna allow it. I think. I mean, I think with the grammar, like, it's a big thing for me. I hate it when you Y-O-U-R or Y-O-U''re when that's written down wrong. If I'm getting it on a message or a WhatsApp or a text message, I want to write back Y-O-U-R-E''.
Oh, no.
In inverted commas. Like, I want to do that.
I'm definitely guilty of sending UR. I'm definitely a UR person. Just the letters UR for your.
But I tell you now, when you talk about learning and teachers, I'm quite big on grammar, but it's because my mum is very good at English literature and English language, and she would really drum into me a lot about, you know, the way to write things grammatically with the right punctuation and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, that was my mother that helped me learn that. To be honest, at school, I can't even remember ever doing one lesson where grammar was important. I mean, they would get us to write a lot of stuff phonetically, which for spelling is completely irrelevant because it doesn't help you. I think if you can find tools that help you to learn, great. But if you're using those tools to do it for you, where you're not learning, you know, that is... I don't think that's the right way to learn. Is it a crime? Is it a too good to be true crime? I don't know. In kind of literary circles and in the school system, would be perceived as being a crime, I could imagine.
Even the software that teachers are already using, one of the programs is called Canvas. It does double check for plagiarism. It double checks to see if AI has been used to help make the material, but it tells the teachers that this is only approximate. It can only detect like a certain percentage, right? It's not super duper accurate. So then, like, teachers are left with a reading that says, like, oh, this project may be plagiarized, or this project is 60% chance of being used by AI. Well, what is a teacher supposed to do with that? They're not really left with any answers. Jared could have used that software that's probably already provided by Texas A&M, but instead he decided to use ChatGPT, which is still in its pretty early phases with all of the amazing things we've said that it can do. It's still in its kind of early-ish phases, that so much so that it's still being offered as free, right? ChatGPT tells us that its plagiarism tools are only 26% accurate. They're only believed to be about 26% accurate. And Jared didn't even use the plagiarism tools offered through ChatGPT. That would have required him to kind of upgrade and use a paid version of the AI application. He's just using the ChatGPT version for free. So it has less than a 26% chance accuracy, and he's using it to detect plagiarism or the use of AI in his students, who many of whom are probably paying thousands and thousands of dollars to go to this school and get a degree. Someone posted on Reddit, because after they shared this email, it got all over Reddit, and someone posted on Reddit and said, my fiance reached out to me super duper upset because she had already graduated, but they were going to withhold her diploma over this. And she
really?
She said she didn't even know what ChatGPT was. She had never even heard about it.
So what they were saying is that her paper was as intellectual as a computerized version of what she'd written.
That's basically what they're saying.
And I'm guessing Jared was thinking, my wages as a teacher are not great anyway, and I'm not going to spend any more money buying a paid version of one of these apps to find out whether my students are cheating or not. He probably got to a point where he's like, do you know what? I've fucking done my bit. If they're cheating, there's nothing I can do about it. Send them off into the world. At the end of the day, if they've got like a fake degree that they're not actually qualified and earned, at some point in some kind of form of employment, they're going to fall apart, aren't they? Because it's going to be exposed they actually don't know much about what they've written about.
It's true, and I'm sure that's probably the lesson to be learned with AI in general, just like our AI intro that we've already heard. If you use AI to create something, it's not going to be as good as the real thing, is it? Jared tried to use AI to grade, and it wasn't as good as the real thing. He obviously made some pretty big mistakes using this very basic technology. Right. And many of the students were exonerated from the whole fiasco. One student did admit he confessed to using ChatGPT, and then a couple of students have still received incompletes, which maybe that means it's inconclusive or something. But several students have been exonerated, and so. That's the tale of Jared and his students. Texas A&M has made a couple statements, and one of them is that the use of AI in coursework is a rapidly changing issue that confronts all learning institutions. So they're just trying to be like, sorry, this is new for everybody, and one of our teachers fucked up.
And it's a shame for Jared because he's tried to do the right thing, but it's backfired on him, and essentially what he's tried to find out is inconclusive. So the students are thinking, yes, got away with that one. I can go and smoke some more weed in my dorm room and I'm all right. I feel for Jared mum. I feel for him. You know, because he's tried to do the right thing and it's not worked out. Yeah. So he's tried to be like, teacher stroke policeman of the university, and it's not worked out. And you're going to get students now just going, got away with that one. Jared, I'm sorry, mate. From the Too Good to Be True Crime podcast, we can only send our best empathetic feelings towards you.
Yeah, we're sorry, dude. Texas A&M said no students failed the class or were barred from graduating because of the issue. And that Jared Mumm, the class professor, is working individually with students regarding their last written assignments. So we hope that you get that wrapped up pretty soon, Jared. This is just too bad, man.
Yeah, sending our best to you, Jared. We really are.
I figured we would make up for my mistake in AI, just as Jared made his own mistake in AI. I gave it another prompt, Rich. I gave it a prompt.
Right.
Please give me a script for my podcast. Please make it a script for 2 hosts. It's funny that I used please when I was giving this AI bot, I'm using manners even though it's just a robot. I'm still saying, please give me a script. Please give me a script for my podcast with 2 hosts. Yep. The podcast is called Too Good to Be True Crime, a comedy podcast. This is our AI scripted mini episode of Too Good to Be True Crime.
Welcome to Too Good to Be True Crime, a comedy podcast. I'm your host, Rich, and I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Austin. How are you doing today, Austin?
Hey there, Rich. I'm feeling absolutely thrilled to be here, ready to dive into some fascinating and hilarious crime stories. Are you ready to uncover the unbelievable world of true crime with a twist of humor?
Absolutely. Our goal with this podcast is to explore some of the most outrageous, mind-boggling and too good to be true crime stories out there. We'll be sharing the details of these cases, but with a comedic twist to keep things light-hearted. So let's get started with our first story.
Oh, I'm excited. Our first crime story is about a burglar who accidentally broke into a pastry shop instead of a jewelry store. Can you imagine the look on their face when they found themselves surrounded by donuts instead of diamonds?
That's definitely a sweet surprise for a criminal, but wait, it gets even better. Apparently this burglar couldn't resist the temptation and ended up eating so many pastries they fell asleep right there in the shop. Talk about a sugar-induced arrest.
Oh, I can't even begin to imagine the sugar rush they must have had. But you know what they say, crime doesn't pay, but it sure can give you a tummy ache.
Absolutely. And that's all the time we have for today's episode of Too Good to Be True Crime, a comedy podcast. We hope you enjoy these hilarious crime stories with a comedic twist. Join us next time for some more outrageous tales from the world of crime.
Thank you for tuning in, and remember, when it comes to crime, laughter might not be the best defense, but it sure makes for a good podcast. Stay safe and keep laughing, everyone. There it is, Rich.
Mate, I almost feel that we've wasted all our time doing 10 episodes of this, or 11 episodes, whichever we are now, because we could have just done this and just kind of read this from the script, and arguably it's better than the content we've provided thus far, mate. You can literally ask it and it will come up with a whole script like that.
It's fantastic. I would
yeah.
encourage all of our viewers, all of our listeners to get on there and start messing around with AI.
But people could be using it for wedding speeches, for like, you know, presentations, all sorts of stuff. It's quite frightening that that is what it came out with. I mean, it's very basic is the wrong word, but it's kind of I guess it's quite generic in its concept, isn't it? Because I guess if you don't give it enough detail, it can't source that detail, because it doesn't. It's just giving you. I suppose it picks out you know, kind of buzzwords and stuff and generates it from that. But
yeah.
I mean, mate, if we're ever stuck for content, we'll just put that into the AI machine and we'll go, right, just give us an episode, will you? That'll kill 25 minutes.
Well, Rich, that's what we just did today, didn't we?
Yeah, this is true. I really enjoyed that episode, mate.
So there it is, man.
Yeah.
There's our AI episode of Too Good to Be True Crime, partially created by AI.
I like that. Austin, as always, lovely to see you, mate. Good to chat. See you on the next episode.
Great to see you, Rich. See you soon.